Hey, sweet soul, welcome back to Conscious Lifestyle Coaching. My name is Raileigh Easterling. Today's message is to flow. I want to share some stories about myself that you might relate to. I want this community, all of you all, to understand me at a deeper level so that if you're considering coaching with me or sitting in a session with me at any point, uh, you know where I'm speaking from. So today's message, it's it's many things. I've been highly aware of my fear of disappointing other people, setting boundaries, overworking, people pleasing, taking on too much, and burning out, repeating this cycle of ambition and then self hatred. And it's this endless cycle I've been circulating through over the past decade that I feel is coming to an end. So I want to speak on it and bring awareness to it in case you might resonate with that cycle of chasing success and ambition and then burning out and just cycling through again that lack of self-love and feeling confused in life and uh, not appreciating where we are in life because it seems to never go anywhere. And there's two sides of this. One, it's it's childhood traumas, and we're going to dive into that lead us to this search for belonging. So it's not really even about purpose, it's finding this sense of belonging. So I'm going to actually not dive into divine purpose so much today, but I want you to understand and hear this story and realize this is how it has shaped my divine destiny. And that way you can reflect on your own journey at this time. But this need for belonging, whether that's to yourself or friends, lovers, if you have deep wounds that come back from childhood and community, you might really resonate with all of this. But where I am transitioning, becoming a mother, it has been extremely hard to pivot to my real needs or to even give space for my real needs. I'd rather put other people first, but becoming a mother, obviously, I have to heal that because it's not just about me anymore. Now there's another life involved. And so I've had to courageously look at my deeper wounds and why I'm behaving the way I'm behaving, why I've sculpted and created certain business practices that were causing me mental suffering. So if you're a hustler, if you're someone who just, again, you reach for, you strive for ambition, you know God has a plan for you, so you're not gonna rest in this life until you feel fulfillment in that, or you trust that you are honorably serving God, and that's great. It's the overworking that's rooted in deep trauma of scarcity and of lack, of betrayal, that sometimes leads us on this endless race, this cycle. So I've had this need lately to create more mental space, knowing that there's going to be things I don't know how to do with a newborn, the healing that I'm going to need afterward in the postpartum era. It's wanting to slow down my life so I can be present with my baby and not have to choose between being a provider, working hard, and then neglecting my child with the emotional presence, the skin to skin contact that I know newborn needs. And that's a fight, that's a battle that many mothers, oh, I could start another channel now on women's rights and just how amazing women are in general. Now that I'm being initiated into motherhood, women are phenomenal. And so this need for more space and slowness has been an absolute paradigm shift, completely terrifying because it's so anti what we're taught in this society, in capitalism. And I'm sorry I keep talking about it, but listen, I'm someone who wants to make money. Y'all know this. I very much am striving for generational legacy, generational wealth. And yeah, that's rooted in some capitalistic ideologies, but it's anti motherhood, it's anti the feminine, the sacred feminine. And so it's been a huge ego death to slow down and to walk away from working with specific clients I've been working with for a long time. They're doing so well, and I've had the privilege to help them build in so many different ways. Or I'm so in love with what they're doing, their vision, their community. I want to be a part of it. And it keeps happening over and over again where I get so deep into it. I give so much love and passion, and then Spirit says I have to walk away. And this is financial security as well. You know, building business, you have to be present, you have to be responsible, consistent, daily, weekly. And that is a system that Spirit can no longer have me operating in, not in a way where I'm neglecting my business as well. So, caring for a newborn and operating my own business is where Spirit wants me now. So, offering the one on ones, workshops, and specific coaching portals, the divine flow of energy in which I can plan ahead and prepare and have extra support with the baby to continue building business. But I cannot work a 9 to 5, not in this journey, not how I want to raise healthy, conscious children. No way. So, a little bit about my background and why I have this need for belonging, why I immerse myself so much in the lives of people and companies and neglect myself because I want them to succeed before I succeed. Well, maybe you resonate with um, being a parentified child, having to grow up too quickly, or experiencing specific abuse or neglect a little too young in life. And so you understand what it means to survive. You had to learn how to be responsible for yourself too young. You weren't nurtured or provided for in all the ways that you really needed. So, for me, for example, I had a roof over my head and I was fed and clothed, but I never truly felt safe. Very much a lack of emotional connection, um, very unpredictable behaviors, absent parents. Um, So it created a very disturbing atmosphere. Home was never a place of safety for myself. Um, I'm not going to dive too far into why I perceive my parents as being abusive and neglectful. That is still something that is very much unfolding, and anyone in my family watches and it angers you that I talk about my family. This is my healing journey. And I have more books coming out, so you might as well get used to hearing about this stuff. And this is me creating my own community, creating connection with people who have also experienced life as I have because I need that connection. We need that connection. We all need healing. And so I refuse to suffer alone. I refuse to suffer in silence. It's that little caveat there. So, being firstborn, having a baby brother at 8 years old, and my mother going into the workforce too quickly. She was working 2 to 3 jobs, wasn't home, was not kind and nourishing, was not a mother. It's almost as if I had 2 fathers, but the actual father was not present, very much absent, and left when I was 15. But just as soon as this baby was born, my little brother, um, feeling a need to protect him or care about him, making sure he's having what he needs, and that kind of pressure as an 8-year old was intense. Because I was still a child too, you know. I also grew up mostly raised by my grandparents. So obviously older generation, um, Puerto Rican parents. I did not speak Spanish. I was not raised in any of the multiple languages that could have been gifted to me. So, not very much connection. Again, no one was sitting me down and really having a conversation with me, asking me how I was, or what do I want out of life, or how I was feeling. No one's asking that. It's either very silent in the house or someone just speaking at me. And I was very mute. I was very quiet. I was very shy. I learned very young, just stay out of the way, stay quiet, go within, and you're safe there. That's how I learned how to be a self-loving, radiant presence. Having to go within, not expecting, and learning really not to expect any love from people outside of me. But again, I was clothed, fed, and kept with a roof over my head. But yeah, my maternal grandparents raised me and my brother for the most part, as well as um, my cousin who was disabled. I haven't talked about him much, but he had a neurodegenerative disorder in which, since 8 years old up until his passing at 19, his body completely was debilitating and just shutting down from walking to talking to eating and eventually just breathing. And it was horrific to watch that kind of suffering in a child, someone who uh, ultimately was raised with me as a brother. And again, that caretaker in me was cultivated at that time in which I was so sensitive and attuned to his needs. How is he feeling, making sure he's happy and he's clean and being fed. And there are other adults taking care of him, but I was always by his side, providing that emotional connection and care. And ultimately, he was my best friend. um, so I've sat with intense suffering in that way. When my cousin died, and again, I very much considered him my older brother. When he died, it was the same month my parents decided to divorce. So I was 15. Again, talking about the parentified child, right? Both parents confiding in me how the marriage is suffering. Them both telling me how they've been cheating, and ultimately I'm just a child passing things back and forth. So being blamed for the divorce. And when my older brother passed away, my parents just fell apart. Again, no one was checking in on me. It was about them. Resorting to drugs and alcohol. And my mother deciding to get plastic surgery, in which again I'm concerned about everyone else. I'm holding the strength for everyone else. I'm not allowed to cry. I'm not allowed to be held. And when I did open up, just being given drugs to numb my pain too. So I think from that day on, I held in a lot of grief and a lot of pain, and it wasn't until almost my mid 20s when I finally lived alone for the first time out of state, in which I processed how much I grieved and how angry I was. So that was a betrayal. That was a day in my life in which I realized I didn't have parents. Not really. And again, I'm not sharing all this for sympathy or empathy, even. This led me to being this caregiver too young, this people pleaser who puts everyone first. I am so sensitive and attuned to how everyone else is feeling. Obviously, I had to learn to be self aware, but I'm almost too aware. So, a lot of empaths, we have these gifts, these abilities because of trauma, learning when is someone going to come home and be abusive, learning how to recognize moods and patterns so that you can protect yourself. That's a big part of why I'm gifted with what I have. But this has to heal. This has to end as I'm birthing in the next generation, wanting to break all those curses within my family and to be fully present with my child, not to put emotional labor, spiritual labor on a baby, on a child. And so this is a space I've curated for conscious lifestyle coaching as well. Turning, of course, my pain into power. As I speak love, I'm speaking to myself because even today, I cannot call my parents or anyone in my family and be held in the space that I need. I've always been that space. I don't know anything else until recently, until I'm allowing and learning to be held by soul family, soul friends, my new husband. It's been very new. And so my past has shaped how I have done business. So conscious lifestyle coaching is 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 my first baby in a sense, and that I go to such far lengths to make sure that anyone who consults with me, coaches with me, succeeds, that you feel seen, that you feel loved and supported. But this new era of Rayleigh, who's now becoming a mother, she's taking a step back. She wants to see more of us empowered as I empower myself. But I can't hold your hand through this journey. But what I'm offering to you is highly valuable, highly needed, and safe space is necessary. But I can't build your vision for you. I can't change your life for you. I can only hold you accountable. And the sewings, the financial sewings that people share with me, that is a way that you hold yourself accountable, investing in yourself to have support. And the ego wants to question all of it. Why should you pay someone to support you? And you're not paying me to love you. What you're investing in is resources that are successful, that have been used by myself and other people, so that you find the healing and the wholeness and the growth that you need, and you see it through, that you see your growth, and that someone respects you, someone honors you, and is willing to not, again, save your life for you, but to invest whatever I can, whatever we can, so that you stay alive, so that you continue on, that you serve the soul. So that was a little deep, but I had to share. I'll be marketing about the next coaching portal. So if this is you, I'd appreciate if you have any questions, go ahead and reach out and we'll get those answered, and let's go ahead and lock those in. I can only take 10 people. That'll be starting January 5th. I have a workshop coming up. If you've been in the book writing mode, if you're ready to share your story, get it done, and be in the laboratory space to get help, I'll be sharing more about how I can help you shortly. And again, just thank you so much for going community with me. And feel free to send me an email. I'd love to hear from you. And just thank you so much for all the love and support. I pray these messages are guiding you and make you feel seen and loved and supported. I'll see you in the next video. Peace and love. ConsciousLifestyleCoaching.com. Description box below. You can see all my offerings and resources, including the book, Phoenix Medicines. If you really want to dive even deeper into the soul journey through my poetry, I'd love for you to check that book out. All right. I'll see you again soon. Peace.